Hello, hello, hello. I love that. Stick it out and get your reward. Hello, everyone. This is welcome to the GoPro Mentorship Group weekly call. And for those of you that I haven't met yet, my name is Margaret Irving, but I would love it if you would call me Chili. And I'm honored to serve as your community manager and also your VIP concierge. So I'm your go to person for questions, feedback, sharing any successes, and anything you want to share with me. Okay. You also have an entire team supporting you, and they can be reached at support@goprocertified.com. So just a couple of things that I wanted to quickly go over. One of them is that this Friday, your homework assignment is due. And for those of you who are not familiar with that, we're requesting that you come up with like a half a page summary and include the goals that you want to achieve for the year, for your best year yet. It could be like an income goal, it could be the number of people you want on your team, something, make it pretty lofty, and then follow it up with your game plan. And your game plan would actually be how you intend to achieve it. And so, come up with it could be just briefly your DMO and then what you plan to do for the year, but just kind of spell it out so you have a game plan to follow. And that's due on Friday again. And if you could send it to me at support@goprocertified.com. And Eric's going to take a look at them all. So make sure that you put some thought into them, get into a proper state, get your energy level up, and really think about your future. Just envision what it is that you want to accomplish in 19 and 20. What year are we? 2026. Anyway, just one other thing is, hopefully you've all had a chance to visit and navigate your personal portal. And if you're like me, sometimes it takes a bit for me to learn things and new apps and programs and this type of thing. So with this in mind, we're putting together a tour, if you want to call it that, so that you can actually maximize all of the resources that you have available to you. So look for that this week, okay? So today I am excited to welcome back Coach Gill, our expert on mindset. Now, how many of you have limiting beliefs? Let's put a 7 in the chat. Some of you have some limiting beliefs out there. Gil's got both his hands up. That have held you back from achieving your goals and anything you desire. Well, we've got Coach Gill, and he's going to help you identify and understand those limiting beliefs with this topic of finding subconscious limiting beliefs, and it's part 1. So we get to welcome him back to part 2 next week. So without further ado, help me welcome Coach Gill. Take it away, Coach.
So good timing here, but yes, thank you. Thank you, Chili. Thank you, Alexi, for the support behind the scenes. Thank you to all of these translators that are here showing up to share this message with everybody that's showing up from around the world. What an exciting time. I mean, we're all taking our future into our own hands. We're saying, I'm not going to leave it up to my boss to dictate my income. I'm not going to leave it up to my paycheck from my job to dictate my lifestyle. I'm going to create some financial independence and financial freedom for myself. I think chances are really good that the reason that most, if not all of you, joined a network marketing business is because you see the potential of not only serving people with a great product or a service, but also the potential of doing that and achieving financial independence and time freedom. That potential is there. That's motivating. That's exciting. And if you're passionate about your product or service, in my opinion, this is one of the most important variables to your success. If you're passionate about your product or service. So we all got signed up, right? We took the leap. We jumped in. We had all of our excuses in the past. Oh, I don't have the time. Oh, I don't have the money. Oh, I really don't need this. I'm fine, right? We all had our own excuses. The same excuses you're probably hearing from your prospects when you're talking to them. They're saying the same thing you used to say before you signed up. But at some point you said, enough is enough. I'm going to do what needs to be done. So I've had the honor and the pleasure of working with so many of you, I think. I think there's a lot of you here today that I've worked with one-on-one. But over the years, I've worked with about 6,000 people around the world with the focus of helping them accomplish what they want faster and easier. That's the generic term. What do you do, Gil? I help people get what they want faster and easier. As a mindset coach, as a GoPro coach, as a personal development coach, as a miracles coach, a high performance coach, whatever title we want to give it, doesn't really matter. Functionally, my job is to help people get what they want faster and easier. Hi, Christine, you're such an amazing person. I see your message there. Thank you. How do we do this? Last week, we talked about moving from the 1.0 version to the 2.0 version, and we shared this formula. And that formula encompasses every single expert in the industry. Every person's content lands in this formula, which can be simplified in itself into stop doing these things, do more of these things, and be patient. Right? Do less of this, more of that, and be patient. Right? And at a personal development standpoint, this is doing it from the inside out. Yeah? The inside is where you have control. Yeah? So that formula, to recap for anybody that missed last week, I'm going to say it once and I'll say it slowly. Step one is to get crystal clear about what you don't want materially and emotionally. Circle emotionally. Step two is to get crystal clear about what you do want materially and emotionally. Yeah. So these are your goals, right? This is where your goal comes from. This is what you're preparing for, Eric, is your why factor. Where are we going? Why is it important to you? The emotional part, the reason we're highlighting that is because this is the driving force, right? It's because I'm not feeling fulfilled that I'm pursuing fulfillment. It's because I'm not feeling enough happiness that I'm pursuing happiness. It's because I'm not feeling enough freedom that I'm pursuing freedom, right? Now, many of us are doing really well with our businesses, but we're still pursuing the next level, right? We're still moving forward. We're still chasing it, maybe, if we want to call it that. We're still pursuing the goal. But what's driving me is I want to feel less of this way, and I want to feel more of that way. So the clarification materially and emotionally is important. Materially is like the picture on the outside, so that emotionally I get this feeling on the inside. If I accomplish any goal and don't get the emotional payoff on the inside, or if the emotional payoff doesn't last on the inside, here comes my next goal, right? So I have a lot of passion for cutting out the idealism in personal development. The idealistic, what I call BS, I'm sorry, the idealistic BS that's out there in personal development. I want to get past that with strong clarification with how and why. So if there's any part of ever a presentation I'm sharing with you, and you say, Gil, BS, I want you to make that comment and challenge it and ask questions, because I don't want you to believe any of this. I want you to know. That's my intention, is to help you know. Because if I help you believe, that doesn't really change your life. You've got a million beliefs. Many of them are serving you. Many of them are sabotaging you. So beyond believing, what's the difference between believing and knowing? There's a whole lot more certainty. There's a whole lot more confidence. There's a whole lot more comfort in knowing. Yeah? Believing is cool. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with believing, but in contrast to knowing is just so much more powerful than believing. Yeah? So step one, here's what I don't want to be feeling. Here's step two, what I do want to be feeling, what I believe I'm going to be feeling once I hit the goal. Step three is starve what I don't want, and that's what we're going to start approaching today. Step 4 is feed what I do want. This is going to be our round 2. Round 1 is more about lifting up your anchors, and round 2 is going to be more about raising the sail. If there's an order of priority, you definitely want to lift up your anchors before you raise your sail. Say aye if you agree. Makes sense, right? So in personal development, it's the same. Starve what you don't want. We're going to be addressing today finding limiting beliefs. Step 5, by the way, is be patient, surrender. That's the 5-step formula. One more time, just for clarification, here's what I don't want to be feeling. Here's what I do want to be feeling. Starve what I don't want. Feed what I do want. And be patient. Yeah. Now, on the outside, we don't have control. We have influence. Do you think your mood or your attitude has any form of influence over the results of your presentations? Definitely. It's a no-brainer. Of course it does. So what if you had more skill, more emotional intelligence? Next Tuesday, Holly is going to be talking more about the emotional intelligence side of things, the first stage to clearing limiting beliefs. So you should expect results. I mean, I know what people are paying for coaching. It's not cheap. I've worked with some clients that have spent tens of thousands of dollars. I've heard rumors of certain people within this industry who have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars annually. You should expect results, but you've got to do your part. So today we're going to talk about how to find limiting beliefs. A limiting belief is anything that you believe that limits you in any way. A limiting belief is anything that you believe that limits you in any way. Yeah? So here's a really important point. All limiting beliefs are true. None of them are the truth. So if my limiting belief is, I don't have the time, am I lying? Am I making this up? If my limiting belief is, I know me and I just won't do what needs to be done. Why? Because I'm not an expressive personality. I'm not a great communicator. I don't like to go meet people. Are all of these lies? No, they're true. And they're limiting beliefs. Here's a common one. I hate it when people ghost me. I set up the appointment and they ghosted me. Yeah, they didn't show up. I hate it when people ghost me. See, these are all true statements, but what do they do to your behavior? You behave in accordance with these beliefs. I don't know how is probably the most common limiting belief there is. I don't know how. Is that a lie? No, it's true. These limiting beliefs are like programs. Your behavior matches your programming. You've been programmed to behave the way you behave. Do you think an introvert tries to behave like an introvert? Do you think an extrovert tries to behave like an extrovert? It comes naturally, right? I'm a people person. Do I need to try to behave like a people person? I'm not a people person. Do I need to try to behave that way? You don't have to try. You're conditioned to behave the way you behave. This conditioning can be said to be your beliefs. Yeah? So what do I believe? You're preparing this statement for Eric, right? This goal, this big, hairy, audacious goal, right? You've got your dream, your picture that you're preparing. What is your biggest limiting step? What is your obstacle? So I really want this. A way to identify limiting beliefs, and let me be clear, identifying is almost, if not more important than clearing it. Identifying it is almost, if not more important than clearing it. Because it's a lot easier to clear a limiting belief once you get it. Yeah? And we're not even going to be talking today too much about how to clear a limiting belief. It's more important that we understand your limiting beliefs are running on autopilot, producing a sabotaging outcome. I want the success, but I want to do what's required, but my problem is, yeah? How about it's hard for me, or it's frustrating for me, or it's stressful for me, or it really angers me when, or it really aggravates me when. Yeah? These are all limiting beliefs. So a lot of times when I'm working with a client, they've spent $10,000, they're working with me one-on-one, and they're saying, I know I've got subconscious limiting beliefs. Help me find and clear those subconscious limiting beliefs. They're serious. They've put their money where their mouth is, and a lot of it to say, help me find my subconscious limiting beliefs that are sabotaging me. And if we can find and clear subconscious limiting beliefs that are causing sabotage, and now I'm no longer sabotaging myself, what's the value of that? How powerful is that? So the first step is moving from just being this way, this is just how I am, to start identifying, oh, that's the program I've been operating on. Now, when people are paying that kind of money, most often they're expecting to go through some fireworks show like, oh my gosh, that's what it is. Wow, that's amazing. That's huge. So they're looking for this like giant fireworks show of a limiting belief, right? I can't trust anybody. Oh, I never thought of that, right? I mean, it's been part of my behavior for so long, but putting it into words that that's a program I'm operating on, I can't trust anybody. For a lot of people, that fireworks show is what they're looking for, and it's pretty impressive when they find it. But by and large, it's not the fireworks we're looking for. It's the 10,000 limiting beliefs that are right in front of our face that we don't consider to be limiting beliefs, like, I hate it when people ghost me. Like, I'm not a good trainer, or I don't want to be responsible for other people, right? And there's thousands of these beliefs. If you want to find your limiting beliefs, that's the encouragement for this week, is take the time to make a list of limiting beliefs, because by the time we've completed this process, this training, you will know very clearly not only how to minimize the emotion, the suffering in the limiting belief, but you will also understand how to clear it temporarily as well as permanently. I promise you that. Permanently. I saw you say that, Mary. High five to you. Yes, I promise you that. And I can promise that because I understand very clearly what it takes to clear a limiting belief permanently. It's not an idealistic, fluffy process. There might be a little bit of idealistic fluffy in the journey, but we're not looking, we don't care about that idealistic fluffy. We care about permanent results, right? So next week, Holly's going to talk about the emotional element, and then, next week. And then the following week, I'm going to come back and follow up with how to do the rewiring of the neural pathways. The neural pathways are the biology of the belief. Yeah? So it's like a circuit running. And if energy keeps running through the circuit, the light bulb keeps coming on. But I don't like the light bulb. I want the fan to come on, right? This light bulb is too hot. It's burning me. It's too bright. I want something else to happen here. If energy keeps running through the same circuit, the same result keeps happening. That biology is the biology of the belief. It's like a circuit. So we're going to talk about not only how to purge the emotional side of it, but also how to rewire the neural pathways, which create a permanent result. Now, if that's done idealistically, it's going to still be a temporary result. I'm sorry, it's going to be nice, but it's still not over with. It keeps coming back. What is this about? It is easy to clear a limiting belief. But of course, you would expect me to say that. This is my job. This is my career. This is my purpose in life, helping people accomplish what they want faster and easier. I don't want you to believe it. I want you to understand how and why. That's our mission here. So this week, the focus is really about you're creating this presentation about your goals and your focus for Eric, more for yourself than anybody, but also Eric's going to be looking at these. When you create that, make a long list of every single excuse or obstacle or problem that you think you might be facing along the way. What are the obstacles? What are the problems? What are the yeah buts? Or just the buts, period. I'm going to, but I'm nervous that, I'm worried that. In fact, there's a good way to identify limiting beliefs. Anytime you have I am, and then any form of negative emotion. I am frustrated, I am stressed, I am worried, I am nervous. I am. Let me just say right now, we can prove in less than 30 seconds that you're not worried, frustrated, nervous, stressed, angry. We can prove it. Open up the dictionary to that word in the dictionary. I guarantee you, you will not find your picture next to that word. It's not what you are. It's how you are, right? So it scares me when, or I get frustrated when, or I am disappointed when. Any form of negative emotion associated with I is an identification with it. Let me say this very clearly. This is worth writing down if you're taking notes. Being identified with it is what sustains it. Being identified with it is what sustains it. The practical term we might hear for that is, that's just how I am, right? Well, I'm not a people person. I'm not a closer, right? I'm not the social butterfly like he is, like she is. It's just not how I am. That's identification with it. That's holding it to be true. I was talking with a client earlier today, and he's telling me, I'm really stressing, you absolutely have to be operating on a schedule. Your results are so off and on. You're not getting progress. You're not getting momentum. You need to establish a schedule. And he's like, I'm not a scheduler. I'm like, hello, keep believing that and see where you're going to go, right? I'm not a scheduler. I said, I'm glad you've identified how you used to be. Now, how are you going to be, right? You used to not be a scheduler, but now you are a scheduler because you're choosing it. So identifying the limiting beliefs is identifying the programming that dictates my natural behavior. Before I want to go make some changes, don't I really want to understand what I'm working on first? Where it came from? You see, programming in your neurobiology, again, the neural pathways in your brain can be considered to be the biology of a belief. Where did those beliefs come from? They came from experiences. Yeah, the way other people treated me, the self-image that I started developing, the accomplishments, the trials and errors, the overcoming of the battles and the successes, all of these pleasure, pain experiences is what built my programming. If your experience didn't have any pleasure and it didn't have any pain, do you remember it? So let's say August 17th, 1998. What color shirt were you wearing? I have no idea. Like, it doesn't matter at all. But if we just name the date of your anniversary or your birthday or somebody died on that day, right? You remember that date, and you very well maybe remember that color of the shirt you were wearing at the wedding, at the funeral, at the party, whatever. Right? So if the experience doesn't have pleasure or pain, we typically don't remember it unless it's repeated over and over and over and over and over and over again, repetition, right? So the painful and pleasurable experiences that we've had in life and the amount of repetition is what built the programming that is the biology. And this is the blueprints. We need to adjust the blueprints. If we don't adjust the blueprints, we're getting temporary results. So the first step is identify what are the blueprints made out of that are creating self-sabotage for you. Self-sabotage is the common denominator of any client who has ever worked with a coach. So nobody's doing it on purpose. somebody is asking. I wanted to ask you, I know what my limiting beliefs are. Oh, it disappeared. I don't know if I need some help on the moderation here, but I'm gonna try to open up the chat and see if we can get some of this addressed. Yeah, I feel like I could be running in circles now. There's so much content we can go over, and we're going to be progressively going through all of this. But for now, let me open it up for questions. I know we only have 5 minutes left. Are there any specific questions? Somebody was asking a question, and it disappeared from my view. So let me invite it into the chat, or if there are moderators that can represent some of these questions, that would be wonderful.
There's a question from Carla.
Please.
Yeah, and she's asking, I know what my limiting beliefs are. Oops, it's going up. These things are fast. Hold on. I know what my limiting beliefs are. Some are linked to my one job, which is physical and exhausting. So real because they do not allow me to have more energy, enthusiasm. But how do you switch with the network marketing activity?
Let's pause right there. They do not allow me to have. Did you hear that? Repeat that one more time. They do not allow me to have what?
They do not allow me to have more energy and enthusiasm.
Oh, so you need permission to have more energy and enthusiasm? Is that what we're saying? And those things are not allowing it. They're like your really strict parents saying, no, you can't have any more energy and enthusiasm. So you believe this, and you're right. It's true, but it's not the truth. So if you're blaming the lack of energy and enthusiasm on that, look at it non-judgmentally, right? Become aware of that I'm giving away energy and enthusiasm to this excuse that it's because of that. Like many of you have heard this quote from Eleanor Roosevelt that said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent, right? As a personal development coach, no one can make you feel anything without your consent. Right? If I give you the most terrible insult possible in a language that you don't understand, you are not going to be offended. Right? So losing energy is going to be a subject that you want to be talking more about in the possibility of your one-on-ones. I don't know if you're working with a coach one-on-one, but coming back and understanding what are limiting beliefs first. Anything that you believe that limits you in any way, whether it's true or false, conscious or subconscious, anything that limits you in any way. So write down those reasons, write down those excuses, write down those, whatever they are, the yeah buts or my problem is, write them down and just make a list for today. We're not here to emphasize specifically how to clear it yet. First, we want to get clear about what the obstacles are, and progressively we're going to get more and more clear about how to release it. But the biggest part, I'll say this for today, just to give you something, the biggest part of clearing is moving from not realizing it's a limiting belief to realizing it's a limiting belief, right? From that's just how I am to, oh, that's a program that I've been operating under, right? This is one of the, if not the biggest parts of clearing, is objectivizing the belief itself. We have another one, Shilly?
Identify what the blueprints are made of that are creating self-sabotage for you.
One more time, you were muted for a second there.
Yeah, identify what the blueprints are made of that are creating self-sabotage for you.
That's what we're doing. Yeah, that's what we're doing. The blueprints are made out of your experience, your experiences. Right? If the experiences have been painful, then you've got a blueprint system that tells you that the world is dangerous. Stay safe. You've got a much stronger nervous system, maybe, right? You've got a shorter fuse. You're on high alert. You're very protective. You're on guard, right? And being that way, you're probably not very comfortable being vulnerable. Yeah, so your blueprints are made out of your experiences, and we'll talk more and more about that. But if it doesn't have pleasure, it doesn't have pain, you don't remember it. If you do remember it, how is that possible? Because you built neurobiology out of the experience. The energy of the experience says, this is important. We need to remember this. This is painful that way. This is pleasurable that way. Let's remember those things.
Great. Thank you so much, Gil. I'm going to kind of wrap it up here, everybody. We're kind of getting close to the end. I just wanted to address real quick, and you have great questions here in the chat, and I'm going to get those over to Gil. So maybe next week or in some way we can kind of get some more answers to you. Okay. Would that be okay, Gil?
That'll be great. One last thing I want to say is that next Friday, we've got Lance coming in. He's going to be coming in for some of the basics of social media, account setup, posting and content creation. So make sure you show up. That is at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Friday.
Friday
So
the 15th. And that's also, I just wanted to touch, I know people have questions about the assignment too. And basically, it's from the goal setting workshop. We just need a half-page summary. Forget I said DMO. For those of you who don't know what a DMO is, just don't even think about it. All we need is a summary of what your goals are, what you want to accomplish in your best year yet, which is 2026, and also your game plan, which is what you plan to do to achieve them. And so that's what the assignment is. Send it to me at support@goprocertified.com. I'll put that in the chat. And anyway, thank you so much, Coach Gill. Let's go show Coach Gill some love. Put some love hearts in
love.
in the chat. Put some love hearts in there for Coach Gill. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Have a great week, you guys. We'll see you on Friday.
Bye, guys.